So more people are joining, and I'm trying to admit them to the. Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining from. I'm yours truly, Mujibata Korede. I'm from Nigeria. Originally, I'm from Nigeria, but currently I'm schooling here in the United States, Old Dominion University. I major in curriculum and instruction, early literacy, and I love to educate teachers. Like I'm a teacher educator, and so currently I'm a doctoral candidate preparing for my dissertation, and I'm also the proprietress of the Light Schools, Ilorin, Nigeria. So I'm glad to launch this systematic phonics instruction. So we'll be together for about 45 minutes to 1 hour, like 45 minutes for lecture. Then we'll have question and answer session together with quiz, because at the end of this training, we're going to have quiz section so that we kind of like assess what we've actually gained from this training. And so I want you to pay attention to every detail that is being discussed in this presentation. So when you have, at the end of this training, when you have your reflection and quiz form to fill, immediately you're done with that and you pass the quiz. So it is important you pay attention, you pass the quiz, then you fill in the reflection form. It's together, it's like two in one form. Then you get your certificate immediately. You get your certificate immediately. So yeah. So more people are joining and I'm trying to admit them. So that's why I keep looking away. So even though you may not see me, except for those that are on live YouTube. So let's ride on. So why phonics? Why do you think phonics matters? Why does it matter? Is it important? Must we learn phonics? Can't children actually read without phonics method? So um I am sure you know that when people ask like how many letters do we have, how many English letters do we have, like how many English letters do we have in the alphabet? Of course, there are 26 letters. We have the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Like A, from A all the way to Z. So, but these 26 letters actually represent about 44 speech sounds. So we have the A, the B, K, D, all the sounds. There are a combination of sounds, vowel sounds, combination of consonant sounds. Admit. So English has 26 letters that represent about 44 sounds. Some will tell you that it is maybe like 42 or 44 or 45. So it depends. So the letter sound system is quite complex. You can't, it's not an easy thing like to work with. It's complex for children. It's made up complex for adults, except if English language is not your first language. So letter sound system is quite complex and it has to be thought systematically, in a systematic way. So number three, systematic phonics helps students to decode. They don't just, they analyze each sound and they decode. They try to make the sound, they try to put the sounds together to blend. They also try to read, it will help them to read accurately and smoothly. Then they build automaticity. So they build that automatic way of reading words, automaticity. Okay. So what happens when children read? Because you are teaching them the sound that each letter of the alphabet is making. So they read individual sounds. They read individual sounds. They know that the letter A makes the sound A. They know that letter B makes the sound B. Yeah, I want to implore us, if you're joining, please don't join from not more than one system. If you want to join on your phone, join on your phone. Don't join with your phone and your system or your computer system. Just join so that you can give others the opportunity to join. We only have Zoom, like only 100 people can join on this Zoom. Please, if you are joining from more than one gadget, kindly, I mean, remove yourself from one. So I can see double names, like same people joining from two different gadgets. Please don't let us do that. Okay, so what happens when children read? They read individual sounds a, b, k, d. Then they read in chunks. How do I mean? Like when you have k, at, for example, and for someone who is experienced in reading, like who knows, okay, who is getting familiar with the reading system, that child does not really need to sound all the alphabets, like individual sounds can sound into like k, then at, because the at together is like a chunk, but at. So then they read in chunks, then they tend to blend. They blend. How do you mean? Like smoothing the sounds together. Then also they recognize words in an automatic way, because by the time they get used to, there are words that we call sight words. What is sight words? Sight words are sight words are just a minute. Mutmaina. So sight words are words that you're familiar with. You have read it over and over again, and it becomes automatic, that you don't have to sound, you don't have to analyze before you pronounce it. Have you heard? So you don't have to go through the stress of analyzing what sounds individual words, its individual letter is making. So it becomes automatic. So those are sight words. At the sight of them, once you see them, you just pronounce them, you just read them. So that is what happens when students read. So there are 4 stages in early childhood. There are 4 stages of reading. So these 4 stages, children will transit from one stage to another. So how? The first one is pre-alphabetic stage, like pre-phonemic stage. Then the second one is partial alphabetic. The third one is full alphabetic. The fourth one is consolidated alphabetic stage. There is still the fifth one, but does not really relate to early childhood, which is the automatic alphabetic stage. So we're not really going to delve into that. So what is pre-alphabetic stage? When we talk about pre-alphabetic stage, we're saying that these children, they don't really understand. Yeah, thank you. So pre-alphabetic stage, they don't really understand the alphabet principle. They don't know what the sounds these letters are making. They don't really understand. They don't ABC. Okay, they only see them around, but they can't really explain what those letters represent. So what do? Children rely on visual cues. They rely on visual cues like shapes, colors. We all know the stop sign, especially when you are in admit all. So especially when you're in the city where you have the stop sign with the diagonal shape, anyone who sees the stop sign know that this is a stop sign. So it is not that they can actually read to up, but they can recognize by the shape, not by letters. So, okay. All right. Okay, just to break a little, as you're joining, you can just drop your in the chat box just your name and where you're joining from, whether in Nigeria, United States. We have participants from United States, UAE, Dubai. We also have participants from UK, Canada, Nigeria. So you can just write your name, put your name in the chat box, and yeah, thank you. Put your name in the chat box and where you're joining from. So thank you. So as I was saying, children at the pre-alphabetic stage, children rely on visual cues like shapes, colors, and logos. So number three, instruction should be focused. As educators, we should be aware that instruction should be focused on phonemic awareness. How do I mean phonemic awareness? Like ability to understand the sound, ability to, let us keep muted, please. Let us keep muted. Omobolale. Yeah, kindly mute, please. So, as educators, your instruction for children in the pre-alphabetic stage should focus on phonemic awareness, ability to hear, manipulate, and analyze each sound. Then teach them to recognize the letters like A, the A, the B, the C with their sound and the respective sound they are making. Then teach them how to match sounds, maybe through games or any activities designed for them. Teach them to match sounds to their letters. Then the second stage is partial alphabetic stage. I'm keep looking away so that I can admit more students, so that I won't keep the participants waiting in the waiting room. So partial alphabetic stage, this is the second stage of reading. It is like early letter stage. So you see children, they know some letters. Yeah, before I go, if you go to my YouTube page, Mujibat Akorede on YouTube, there's a video on the pre-alphabetic stage. I talked about it in detail. So it may not be easy to talk about all of these stages fully in this 1 hour webinar. So you can just check it out, and don't hesitate to subscribe and like the page, make comments. Okay, make comments. So, and also this partial alphabetic stage too was extensively discussed there. So students know some letters, especially the initial and sometimes the final sounds. Like, how do I mean? They know, especially most of the consonants. So they can tell you that when they see the word cat, they can tell you that the C makes the sound k, the last one t makes the sound. But you know, the one in the middle, they can hardly describe the sound the middle letter is making. So they use the initial, they use the final letters, but sometimes they guess the middle sounds. So as teachers, your instruction should be focused on CVC blending. You teach them to blend the CVC words k, a, t, cat, b, a, t, bat, bed, 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 bed. Then you teach segmenting, like breaking the word sound. The goal of blending is to read, and the goal of segmenting is to spell. So they segment each sound, each phoneme. Then also teach high frequency words. These high frequency words are like the the an, the I. They are words that we use every day, like children use every day at their stage. So your instructions should be focused on these three areas. Then the full alphabetic stage. This is like the most important of all of these foundational stage. These pre-alphabetic are preparing children. They are like initial stage. They are preparing children to get familiar with the principle of letters and sounds and how they can use them to read words. But they are not as important as this full alphabetic stage. They are also important because it gives them that experience to. So this pre-alphabetic stage, students can decode use can decode word using all the letters in the words, not just the initial or the ending. So they can decode using all the letters they found in words. They can apply letter sound correspondence correctly without mixing up the sound. Then they can start growing a bank of sight words. Reading words with automatic relates with the experiences that children are having with words. Like they are so familiar with words that they know all of these words, so it becomes automatic for them. So they now have so many of those words as sight words that they don't have to sound, they don't have to analyze before they read the word. So at this stage, instructions should focus on blending fluently, smoothly. Then they understand the vowel pattern. There are long vowel, short vowel. Then they understand the digraphs and blends. We will talk about all of this in detail. So the final stage in this early childhood stage, which is the fourth stage, is the consolidated stage. Here, children are familiar with chunks of words. They don't have to analyze one by one like individual sounds. They don't understand the concept of onset and rhyme. We will talk about this in detail later. So onset is like when you have, let's say, cat, for example, the ka is the onset. That's the beginning sound. It's like the consonant or the combination of consonant words that begins a word. Then the rhyme is the vowel and the ending part of a word. So let's say black, for example. The bl at the beginning is the onset. The ak from the vowel to the end is the rhyme. So they understand that words and they can manipulate the initial sound to read more other words. That is like word families. Then instantly they recognize common spelling patterns. They This spelling pattern, because of the chunk of words and the onset and rhyme that I described, so they can recognize common pattern and use analogy to read them. So as teachers, as educators, your instructions should focus on onset and rhyme, word family activities for the children, and preparing for multisyllabic decoding. Because by the time they start reading longer words. So let's say, for example, laptop. These like two-syllable words. So laptop, how do they break it down? So these are the things that you as educators should prepare your children. You consider all of this to prepare their instruction. So principles of effective phonics. What are the principles of effective phonics? As teachers, as educators, when you teach phonics, you have to teach skills that are necessary for decoding. For example, you want to teach the sound ah. So ka'at that I use as example, the goal is for them to know that the ah, ka'at, the sound that ah is making. It does not really matter at that stage whether the ah is a long a or a short a. So the skill that is necessary is what you should focus on as educators. Then number two, you teach unknown skills explicitly. How do I mean? Sometimes when we discover that your children or your students, they're having reading problems, what do? We feel, okay, let's start to teach them phonics from the scratch. You don't have to do that. You have to assess them. You have to evaluate them and understand what they already know, differentiate what they already know from where they're actually having problem. And that is where you as educators should center your teaching. Okay, because let's say they know all the short sounds, but they have problem in the final e, the magic e words. Okay, they can read bat, but they can't read bait. They can read hate, hat. They can't read hate. But it does not make sense to now start teaching them all the hat and the pat and the cat that they can already read. You have to focus your instruction on what they don't know. Then number three, you relate skills to real reading tasks. For example, there are reading text, reading books that are related to, like, let's say there are some reading materials that I know that you know as educators too. Oh, sorry, someone is waiting. That if you are teaching the R sound, for example, if you are teaching the R sound, there are some books that talks about R story, like this text will have words that has the R sound, a lot of words that have the R sound in it, like the Jolly Phonics text reading books about the snake, about the apple, and things like that. So relate skills that you're teaching to the real reading tasks. Make sure you blend it together. If there's a particular sound or words that you are teaching the children, make sure that the reading tasks, what they are going to read, is related to the skills that you are teaching them. Not that you are teaching them a particular sound and they are reading something that they've not even come across before. So this is important for us to know. Then instruction must be planned and systematic. Like what are they going to do first? Then what are they going to do next? And on and on. So it has to be systematic, it has to be planned. Then instruction must be explicit and differentiated. You might have more than one, you may have a diverse classroom with different needs. So as educators, you should be able to differentiate your instruction, design your lesson to and tailor it to the need of individual child in your classroom. So phonics building blocks, these are like phonics elements. The consonant has about 24 sounds, and while the vowel and vowel combination have about 20 sounds. Like from just 26 letters, we have about 24 consonants and 20 sounds. So we should be able to understand these words, these sounds, and how they work. Then the onset that I talked about, so you have the b, these are like the beginning sound or combination of the beginning sounds. So the b in bat, that is the onset, the at, the vowel, and towards the end of the ending part of the sounds are the rhymes. So they should be able to understand and break these together. So the st, up, stop, the st is the onset, the up is the rhymes, the skr is the onset, the in, screen, the in is the rhyme. So when they understand how this concept works as educators, and they have lots of practice exercises that they can do with it, they will understand how to manipulate and how to use the analogy to read more words. Then digraph and blends. Digraph is like having two letters to make one sound. So we have the sh, the S and the H. When they stand separate, they make different sound. This is S is, the H is, okay. The T is, the H is. So, but when they are together, when you put them together, they make just one sound. So the this and the is no more and it is sh. Then also the th is not it is as in thumb, or the one as in that or these or those. Okay, so the th makes two sounds, the soft one and the hard one. Then the ch, ch, as in church, as in chest, as in chick, as in chain. Okay, so that is digraph. That is digraph. Then the other one, the second one, is blends. So this blends, you have these two sounds together, but you can still hear each of those sounds, like each of those sounds that make the word, that makes the blend, you can still hear them, as in as in stop, stop. So you can still hear all the sounds in this two or three, because it can be more than two. Was like the screen that I initially talked about, like the screen here, the scr here. So that is try. There's trigraph and there's blends of more than two sounds. So if you have two sounds that make two sounds that gives you one, two letters that give you one sound, that is digraph. If you have three letters that give you one sound, that is trigraph, as in igh. So that's, you understand the concept of digraph, we understand the concept of blends now. So instructional approaches, there are two instructional approaches that we should understand as educators. The first one is analytical phonics, and the second one is synthetic phonics. It is important to understand the concept of these two instructional approaches. So one is like analytical, is like analysis, whole to part, admit. So whole to part, this is like when you have the word as a whole and you want the children to read them, so they break them into parts. Then k, at, cat. Okay, so they are starting like with what they already know. the the ball, A for apple, the apple they already know. B for bag, the bag they already know. D for dog, the dog they already know. Then you're not trying to analyze to break it down. You're not trying to analyze to break the word down. So that is analytical phonics. So it is less explicit. You don't have to, you know, go into more detail about that, but they just pick the word and they break it down. They analyze it, like identify the sound that each letter is making in a particular word. So, but with these, students can notice the pattern. So it is okay, it is best for children who already recognize many words, and this helps in later stage. Then the second one is synthetic phonics. This is like part to whole. This synthetic phonics helps teach each child the k, a, t. Then they now synthesize it together. They now blend it together, like smooth it together. They identify each sound in each sound, one, two, three. The first sound, the second sound, and the third sound. They now bring it together. So they start with the sound, not with the word. For the analytical, start with word. Okay. So then they now blend to read the words. Synthetic phonics start with the sound. Analytic phonics start with the word. So they blend to read the words. Then this again is most effective for beginners. So the example is the ka and the a and the t, then they put it together to read cats. For beginners in preschool, this is best method for them. For English learners, if you have English learners, English is not their first language, this method is effective, highly effective for them. So Then how do you teach consonant or even vowel? This 6-step model is very, very effective for teaching consonant and vowel. But first, we'll just take them one after the other, and I'm going to explain it more on this consonant sound. Okay, the first one is phonemic awareness, like identifying the sound, hearing and identifying the sound. Let's say, for example, you want to introduce the concept of, let's say, letter B to the children. So you can present them with the ball. Oh, somebody's waiting. You can present them with different objects, like bottle, like um like a ball, like bag, different objects that begins with the sound. Then you can now ask them, the children, what sound do you hear at the beginning of this object? Like, okay, what sound do you hear at the beginning of this? This is, what's this? This is a bottle. Yeah, this is a bottle. So at the beginning of bottle, what sound do you hear? But then they identify the sound. And so many activities like that you can present the children with. Then once you're done with that, then you show them, you present them with the letter in print. So that's why flashcards is important. With the you now present them with the letter in print. You introduce the letter to them, like this sound. This sound that you hear at the beginning of bottle, at the beginning of ball, at the beginning of bag, this is the letter. So that letter, this letter, the sound that you just said, this is the letter that represents the sound. So they understand the letter sound relationship. So then guided practice, let them practice more words with the sound. In other words, they can substitute, they can manipulate, they can do a lot of practice. They can color, they can write, they can do a lot of things. Then they can apply it in their reading, like the story about the and the bag, where it has like Zach the rat. So the application. So they apply it, they write it, they spell it, they blend it. Then as teachers, you can evaluate them, have a quick recheck to actually understand whether they actually understand the concept of that letter sound relationship or the particular sound, whether they understand it. So then if it is important, you reteach it, okay, before you move on to the next one. Then you can also follow the same model, this 6-step model, to teach sound. But in addition to this that I'm going to tell you, like the short are like as in apple, as in astronauts, you can present them with the real object and the real object or the picture. Okay. So then once you have that, you have the at or ed or the rhyme that I talked about, then the world building approaches. So they already have at, so you can add the k, the rat, the sound, change, substitute the initial, the onset. You can substitute it. So once you are teaching a sound, a vowel sound, for example, if it is a or or a or Jonathan Esther or in, for example. So when you have in, as in in, so that is the onset, and it starts with vowel, and that's a very good way of teaching vowel. So you can now add the onset, which is the consonant. For example, in, you can add b, in, bin. You can add in, rain. You can add, onset to it. This example that I just gave, like you have the at, so you can add at, at, and so on and so forth. Then blending. So blending is comes in different ways. The first two ways, when you talk about sound blending, as educators, you can tell your child that's like sound blending, that's like oral blending. You can tell your children like k, a, t. You say the sound individually to them, then the children will do the blending like k, a, t. Can you say it faster? K, a, t, k, a, t. Then put it together, then they tell you cat. That is sound blending. But when it comes to visual blending, the children actually see the words, okay? They see the word, then they now touch. You can have a sound button beneath each sound. So they touch a letter, they say the sound. They touch the second letter, they say the sound. They touch the third letter, they say the sound. Then they now blend it together. So that is visual blending. So sound blending, you give them the sound individually, then they blend it, they give you the blending. But visual blending, the children actually see the word, touch individual sounds, then they blend it together. So this blending can come in two ways. We have the single sound blending and the successive blending. Successive blending, you will think like, which one is sound blending, visual blending, single sound blending? Which ones are? So these are proven methods that researchers, educators in literacy, early literacy have actually worked on, and it's working. So the single sound blending is when you have the cat that I use as an example, then you now sound it individually. K, a, t, k, a, t, cat. Okay? K, a, t, cat. Or let's say laptop, it's a bit longer. Laptop, you want to blend laptop together. You want to sound and blend. So the single sound of laptop is l, a, p, t, o, p. L, a, p. Can you hear that? L, a, p, t, o, p. Laptop. L, a, p, t, o, p. Laptop. But when it is successive blending, what do you do? L, a, la, p. L, a, p. L, a, p, t. L, a, p, t. O. L, a, p, t. O. L, a, p, t. P. L, laptop. Did you see the difference? Say yes if you see the, just type yes. Did you notice the difference? Yes, thank you. So l, a, p, t, o, p, laptop. That is single sound blending. But successive blending is you blend, then you connect, you read individual, like together. L, a, la, p. Then you pick the next sound. L, a, p, lap. Then you pick the next sound. T, lap, t. Then you pick the next sound. O, laptop. Then the last sound. P, laptop. That is successive blending. So these two Infinix Tonys, you're writing on my slide. So I think okay. All right. So successive blending works well. Single sound blending works well. So as teachers, as educators, what do? You use a 3-step process to teach blending. The first is sounding individual, like having children sound or recognizing and understanding the sound in between, like each sound in the word. The sound is they touch the letter and tell you the sound. Then they now do the blending. Is it single sound blending you want them to do, or successive blending, whichever they are comfortable with? But when they are reading words, especially long words, it is better to use successive blending, because sometimes they might forget what the sound the first one actually made. But once they are connecting it in a successive manner, they tend not to forget it. So then the last step is to just blend without breaking the sound. Okay, not, you won't say the first one they touch ah, they read it, then they now blend it in single sound blending or successive blending. That one. Then the last one, they blend it together without breaking each, without hearing the sound individually. So that is blending. Then it is important to have them understand this. Oh, I'm sorry, someone has been waiting. So it is important to understand this word pattern concept. The pattern are very important for children to understand. The first one is the CVC, which is very common and we're all familiar with. Usually it is a short, it has a short vowel sound. Sorry. So usually it is short, that the cat, bag, rat, bed, red, 10, and all of that. That is CVC pattern. Then the CV pattern, we have like the go, no, so, be, me. Usually it is a long vowel sound. Then we have the CVC with the final E. We have the bike, the mic, the ride, the take, make, take. Usually it has a long vowel sound. Then we have the vowel digraph, which has like when you have two vowel sounds together. We have the sheep, we have like boat, so usually it's a long vowel sound. So it is important to expose the children to these forms of sound pattern. Then how do you teach the final E pattern? So here is an example. You can use the sorry. So you can use the example of cane, that you have a cane. This is not a cane, no, this is a ruler. Like you have a cane and you have a can. So when you check you and you present children with the can, like, can we change this can to a cane? So you can remove the can and present the cane. But in the real sense, in writing, it doesn't really work like that. How it works is for you to just have the word can, then when you add the E, the word changed to A. But the easy way I use to teach my teachers is, the letters A, B, C, okay? But this sound, the A, E, I, O, U, are making the A, E, O, okay? A, E, O. So A, E, I, O, U. But when you have the final E, just change them to their names. You change the sound to their name. For example, look at this man. This is man. But when you have the final E there, the changed to A. So it becomes main. It becomes main, okay? So just change. So also when you have E, the letter E makes the sound okay? And you have it in this because it has the final E. It becomes E. When you have O, as in, can you give me an example? The word that has O, CVC word that has O. Anyone? You can unmute and give me an example. No, just say it's not open. The one that has O in the middle, CVC, CVC sound. Mop. Thank you. Up, mop. Okay, it's okay. Up, mop. So that's a good one. So when you now have the E at the end of mop, what sound will that make? That should be mop in a normal way. So that should be mop. So the O there, the O mop changes to O. Okay, that's an example. Sometimes when you are teaching in early years, you might use jargon's words. Okay, So can you give me a U, CBC word that has a U in it?
Mule.
Again?
Mule.
Soup.
Can you spell it?
M-U-L-E. Mule.
Mule. So
Mule.
why
Yeah.
without the U, without the E, without the final E, just CVC.
Mug. Mug.
MUL.
M-U-L. Mule.
Mug.
Okay, mul. Then when you had the final E, it becomes mule. So then okay, the I, CVC word that has I in it. Anybody. Once you answer, you can.
Mine.
When to become wine.
Okay.
Can you spell it?
W-I-N.
WIN.
Become wine.
That is in, win. So when you have the final E, it becomes wine. Okay. Thank you.
Die.
So Dean becomes dine, and so on and so forth. Thank you for participating. So now, okay, just a minute. So now here is an example, like a reading that you can present the children with to teach the final E or to assess the final E. So you can ask them to choose the right option to make the sentence. So the dash sees a lion. The man or the man sees a lion. Number two, the lion has a man or mane. Number three, the mane or the man is the hair around the lion's face and on its neck. Number four, lions like to rest in the shade of a tree. And number five, lions can hunt for food. So this is not my word. This is by Gunning, 2008. I beg your pardon, not 208, 2008B. Oh, admit all. So now, as teachers, we all know the answers. So the man sees a lion. So because man, and ain, the final E. So you can have the children pick or guide them to pick the right word that fit in the sentence. So the correct way of, so they will select like the man sees a lion. So the lion has, what does the lion have? The lion has a what? The lion has a what?
The lion has a mane.
Thank you. The lion has a mane. So the dash is the hair around the lion's face and on its neck. So what's the correct?
The
Okay.
man.
The mane.
The
Yeah.
man is the hair around the lion's
Yeah,
face on
thank
his
you.
neck.
The mane is the hair around the lion's face and on its neck. And lions like to rest in the shade. Thank you. In the shade of a tree. Thank you. Then the lions can hunt for food. Can, thank you. Can hunt for food. Thank you. So yeah, thank you. So this is a wonderful way of assessing or teaching the children to understand the concept of what you're actually teaching them. So I have so many annotation, like participants are writing on my slide. Ah, I'm trying to like deactivate it so that okay. Anyway, let's keep going. Let me see if there's something I can do. Yeah, thank God. So I can clean it now. So we're good. So how do you teach multi-syllable words? So you can use open syllables like the go, no. You can use closed syllables. You can use final E syllables. So how do you teach them? You teach students to understand how to look for, like when they are breaking parts, like the onset, the concept of the onset and rhyme. They can look for prefixes and suffixes. They can look for like the on, like understand. They can break like, okay, is there any words that you understand? So this is a way of helping them to break like long words into syllables. So they can blend, they can check for meaning, like the question of um, the main and man that we talked about. So they can check for meaning. Like you can't tell a child like the main sees a lion. Like wait, who is the main? Okay. So definitely they can self-correct themselves, like, oh, the man actually is not the main, the man sees a lion. So the lion has a man. Does it mean that the lion actually, I mean, has a man in its custody or something like that? No. Oh, the lion has a main. So they can check for the meaning to understand what they are reading. They can look for the prefixes and suffixes. They can break into syllables. Then they can blend. So this is a way of teaching multi-syllable words. Then when they are confronted with difficult words, like I said, is there a part that you can say, they can read? Does it look like another word that they know? That is by analogy. Like let's say they come across rats or vats, but they've read cat. So, but they understand that okay, the art part of it. So, does it really look like a word? Yeah, I think it looks like cat. So they can use the analogy, the concept of the cat that they already know, to read that, to read what, and to read words that they've never come across. Then, if they are finding it difficult to pronounce, they can use another sound that is similar that they recognize. Oh, sorry. So if I don't look this way, I won't know that we have quite a number of participants at the waiting room. So that's why I keep looking at this side. So does it look like another word that you know? Can you try another sound with it? So then they can blend and then read and reread. So you can try to, like this, as teachers, these are prompts that you can use. Ask them what part can they read, do they understand, or do they know? Does it look like another sound or words that they already know? Does it has other sounds that they know? For example, we have the R sound also has another sound, which is a, the long sound. The 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 G, which is the G sound in early years, has a G sound as well. And quite a number of the letter I also has the A sound, also has the I sound, and so on and so forth. So then you can have them to blend, then blend again faster, read and reread. Then so we have like English speakers who are like Spanish. Here in the United States, we have Spanish speakers that quite a number of words are confusing, which is similar to what we have in Nigeria as well. So they represent um, most of their V with their B. When they want to say very, they can say berry. So when they want to say shout or shit, they can say chout or cheat or something like that. So their A too is not an irregular A, the normal A, like and all of that. So the Spanish can say like like big, have their mouth wide open, or I'm not so sure, but it's kind of like related to, kind of closer to what we have in Nigeria, the concept of R. So it's quite very difficult for them. Yeah, thank you, Professor Stevenson Roseman. Thank you, Black Finies. Thank you, Mutmaina loves you. So, um, so use minimal pairs. Like there are words that you can pair together. That the list of words that you can pair together to teach them. I'll show it in the coming slide. Then explicit teaching. It is important to explicitly explain to them the listen, the practice, the speak it, the practice. Okay. So for Nigerian English learners, because in Nigeria, English is our lingua franca because we have the Hausas, we have the Yorubas, we have the Igbos, but English is actually English or pidgin is what actually connect all us together. If you have a Hausa man who cannot speak Yoruba and a Yoruba man who cannot speak Hausa, we have English to communicate together. So, but generally in Nigeria, we have the concept of even as adults, sometimes we mix it up instead of the sound as in think, as in thing. Sometimes we call it thing. We call it thing. It is my thing, Jerry. You mean thing, okay? So, and this is where our sisters like Jato can always help to correct us. So the thing, think, thing, things, okay? So the sound, most of the time we call it thing, thing, and all of that. So sometimes the A as in shape, we mix it. We are trying to emphasize the particular sound, but we misrepresent the sound. So instead of shape, we call it like sheep. I remember when I first started this journey, it was difficult for me to understand like why will I now be calling a like the short a sound. So the short the short a sound actually sounds like a, okay, a as in shape, dig, like that. So, but most of the time we call it e, like we now emphasize e instead of shape, we call it sheep, okay. Then my Nigerian people, the Hausas, the p, we call it f. Instead of pan, we call it fan. Instead of very, just like the Spanish speakers, they can call it like berry. Okay, so minimal pairs that's teaching skills. You use it to teach them. Explicit teaching, they do a lot of listening and speaking, but at the end of the day, they are still not getting it. It is important as teachers to go by the language of your students, okay. If they cannot pronounce p because it is not in their language, please let them call pan fan. Leave them. As time goes on, when they practice over and over, don't get stuck there, right there, okay. It's not as if you're not going to make attempt to still keep correcting them, but please don't let it stop them from reading appropriately, okay. So it is important we get that. So we time fast spent, it's 10 already, okay? And I want to give time for question and answer, but if you don't assess your child at the end of the reading, if you don't assess them, it's you have not taught. At the end of the day, when you teach, you need to evaluate your students. Have they really um understood what you have taught them? Do you really understand what you have taught them? Are they really getting it? Have you met with the goals and objectives of teaching? So you need to assess them. You can use phonics inventory. You need to monitor their progress. Where are they? Where did they start from? Like MKO, you know where they are, you know where you want to take them to. So in between those two, where are they at the moment? So you need to monitor their progress and you document it. Then you can have a quick checks while teaching, at the end of teaching. Then when there is need, you adjust your instruction immediately. Don't leave it till another time. Then you implement it in your instruction and integrate it in your planning for the next class. Then to reinforce activities, these are instructional method of teaching: word sorting, making words, like creating more words, making more words, like circuit message, decodable text, predictable books. So here are activities that you can use to reinforce them so that we can give room for question and answer. So in conclusion, systematic phonics teaching has to be systematic, it has to be explicit, and this is a very good and easy way of building readers. Your teaching impacts long life literacy. Thank you for being part of um, children's life and education. So before we move forward to ho ho ho, just a minute. Sorry, my screen disappeared though. Thank you. It is back. So before we, okay, all right. So before we move forward to quiz, this is the quiz. You can use your phone to scan it. While we do that, do we have any question? I've not been to the chat box. Let me quickly go there. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm trying to attend to. Okay. So, do we have any question? Yeah, thank you. Fatima Ahmad from Nigeria. Okay, Islamia Sulaiman. Yeah, Abdulkadir Shehu Yusuf from Kwara State. Thank you for joining. Ajibade Sadiq from Nigeria. Stevenson Rosma from United States. Thank you for joining. Haminat Bola Lawal from Nigeria. Thank you for joining. Atsumashi Rahima. Thank you for joining. Aminat Agbola, Kauthar Adekunle, Alabelapo Bilkis, Yahya Kabirat. Thank you. Okay, Gani Shukrat, Mariam Murtala, Mariam Agaba Canada. Thank you for joining. Yeah, Abdulhab from Nigeria, Murtala Agba from Nigeria. Thank you for joining. Aminat, Yahya Sharifa. Thank you all, thank you all, thank you all for joining. Yeah, First Lady Bumi, thank you for joining. Yeah, that one came first. Mary Bosse from Nigeria, thank you for joining. Yeah, yeah, thank you all. Beats Bite, thank you. So, do you have any question? Yeah, thank you for the train. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. So, I appreciate you all. So, do we have any question? If you don't, kindly scan this. I can copy the link and put it in the chat box. Copy and put it in the chat box so that you can click the link. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Well, my name is Stevenson. I don't really have a question, but I would like to place a word
Okay.
of congratulations on this amazing presentation on phonics.
Thank
It's
you.
actually an area that so many people have been trying to explore, but with a lot of challenges. So bringing up this, let's say, webinar or live presentation is very supportive to so many people. And as a student, I'm also enjoying listening to you breaking down all the, all the little bit of phonics. This is very, very interesting. And thank you for sharing this with me.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the other.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you. I appreciate that. So do we have any, if you have questions, you can unmute your mic and, or you have any comments, just like,
I have a question.
all right, go ahead, please.
Okay. Good day, everyone.
Okay.
My name is Miriam.
Okay.
I'm already from Nigeria. So
Yeah.
my question is, how do you deal with this situation where you have 8 years old, they are in basic three. So they are from the ages of 7, 8, 9. Even I have 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds in the same class. So, but majority of them have problems reading. They have never been. We run the public school system here, so we have a problem of continuity. Like if the teacher in nursery in the nursery school had taught them, had started teaching them phonics, the by the time they get to primary one, the next politician that comes, they would have changed the curriculum in such a way that there's no continuity from what was being taught from that nursery school to primary. So a lot of them don't know, and now they are in my class, but a lot of them don't even know the sounds. They are familiar with alphabets, and even some of them don't. In fact, there's a lot of, even some of them don't even know the alphabets. So you to know how bad it is, but they have zero knowledge of sounds. Now, I have started teaching them sounds. A lot of them now can identify vowel sounds, consonant sounds. They now know what each letter sounds like. They now know what they now know, I won't say they know the blending.
Okay.
They know how to blend 2-letter sounds. Okay. Some of them know how to blend the 3-letter sounds.
Okay.
But what is happening now is like I'm kind of stuck because I want to go further to ensure that they can actually like start blending 4 letters, 5 letters, because when you look at it, really they are in basic 3. They should be reading by now. Like they should be reading 5-letter words, 3-letter words. But I don't want to rush them because they don't even know. I just taught them the basics of the sounds. So I'm kind of stuck in knowing what activities to give them.
Okay.
What are the things? But I must say that it's not even all of them that know. Like 2 of them, I have a class of like 15 pupils. Like 2 of them, I'm still finding it difficult to teach them to get them to know the single sounds and the 2-letter sounds. But I'm still, they are still work in progress. So, but I'm just stuck with the